Guten Morgen, mein Kinder. How are you? The plan for today is to continue the Dramathon. I am back online at home with some new Wi-Fi, so there's no need for scuffed IRL streams. I could use the laptop to watch videos, and we definitely haven't been live and covering content going on in the Twitch space for weeks, so there has been an inevitable backlog of content that we need to kind of go through. Today, I think to take a little bit of a breather from Demon Mama content, because we have another Demon Mama conversation by way of the vegan gains debate that needs to be covered. I think I'm going to cover Destiny stuff today. So we'll talk about his ban. Maybe we'll watch one of those panels about that. Perhaps look at some videos on his channel about that situation and get caught up on that. And again, tomorrow probably we'll do the vegan gains debate. And I will set up a donation goal right now while we have some music playing, and give people the option to skip ahead to some kind of different content and leave that option on the table. That is the plan. Yesterday, in case you missed it, because the VOD did get deleted on Twitch because we had a little bit of an oopsie. I think Namkai Bando, whatever, some kind of Japanesey company, they've also blocked it in a bunch of regions on YouTube. So that was a bit of a live exclusive. We covered the Demon Mama versus Vosh falling out over supply chains. And then we spent, I think, a couple of hours talking about different anime, looking at the summer seasons of 2015 and 2016. And that was fun. But yeah, depending on where you live in the world, that YouTube video is going to be blocked for you. But I think that's more of an incentive to catch these streams live. Sorry, V Omega Lol D losers. You're going to miss out on that last one. I am kind of thinking about cutting up some pieces of it and fixing what would be copyright issues, and then reposting that onto Patreon for the patrons. That way they could have access to that kind of content. I just have to get some video editing software on this computer, and then I can render that out once we're done today. After stream today, I have work, like proper work, like essay writing work. So kind of not looking forward to that. This is definitely my fun reprieve from, starting again with what used to be my normal job, kind of doing papers and editing. So we could talk about that later if we wanted to. But anywho, I got to set a few things up in the background. While I do that, we're going to play some music by resident DJ Jacob Sampson. Jacob Samples Sampson, I should say. This one is titled Cutesy, and enjoy.
Hell yeah, dude, we're breaking into it.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Hell yeah, dude, we're breaking into it.
Music Hassan fishing mode.
Well, that's not good at all. I don't think you guys can even see me. What's up with that? What is up with that? What's up, party people? Hooah! I was trying to do my hair, and I was like looking to like time it with the music to where I could be back on time. Clearly I didn't get a look in the mirror before I came. We'll deal with this. This is fine. I'm sure it'll calm down, you know? It'll adjust over time, I'm sure. Oh, how is everybody? You got that anime hair book. Yeah. What can you do? I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Ooh. Can you guys stand properly? Let's see here. Open this up and adjust. That's probably fine. Yeah. Hi. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm tired, dude. You know, before yesterday when we did the stream, I stay up to like 8 or 9 p.m. and then I'm tired as fuck, dude. I go to sleep. So yesterday, staying up till like midnight, and then I think by the time I finished timestamps, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, oh, good golly, Miss Molly. And then after doing all those timestamps, it ends up being that YouTube will block the video in so many countries. I'm okay with them taking the revenue from the video. I'm not okay with them blocking it. That's kind of like, it feels bad, man. Attribute to the last anime blog. Yeah, big rip. Okay, we'll put this on here. What the hell? Boy, what the hell, boy? Why does it look like that? Boy, I sure wish I could edit this, but I can't. Well, it'll just, wait. You know, Streamlabs, you would think that they would figure out how to, like, make their shit work, like, properly. Like, they don't have, like, a ton of features and stuff. Like, I don't know. You would think that they would make it to where it wouldn't do characters like that, but there we are. Okay. What's on the agenda for today, Mr. Bookman? Well, what's on the agenda is to get caught up. This is a Dramathon, boyo. And so we're going to spend all of today looking at drama from across the internet. Not really. We're going to be looking at Destiny drama. You know, I didn't want to open up with Destiny drama. I was pondering the idea of doing like a YouTube-only comeback stream where we cover a bunch of Destiny stuff and we stand in solidarity and protest to Twitch or whatever. But no. I'm going to dual stream. I think we'll probably cover anything that's on his channel about it, including that 1v9 panel thing, and then we'll kind of move on from there. What that droning sound be? What the fuck are you talking about, bro? You're coming through clear on my end. Yeah, I don't know what you're complaining about with the droning sound. I don't even hear a droning sound in my apartment, so I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Sometimes it's not even down to YouTube, it's the rights holders being annoying. That's 100% the case with these Bandai Namco people. They do this every time. Anytime something is owned by, I think it's like Sony, because I think Sony owns Bandai Namco, they always just like remove it from the region. They're just like, nope, not today. Nobody's going to be able to see this. Like, damn, bro. I'm sad we lost that amazing clip of you reading some thirsty messages in chat. I think that YouTube clips will persist. Like, I was still able to open YouTube clips. I wasn't able to open the VOD though. So I think your mileage may vary, but I would honestly recommend that you clip on YouTube and don't clip on Twitch. Twitch clips kind of suck. Like, if I'm being real with you, when I use my phone and I'm connected to like good LTE connection and I have like, 50 megs at least, it is frustrating to me that I still can't load like a 1080p Twitch clip without it buffering. Like, I have to open it on Streamable or something, and even then it's like a toss-up. Whereas YouTube clips always work. They always buffer. Like, or they always play like continuously. Even if it has to play it at like 360p or whatever, at least it'll just play the whole clip and I'll be able to see it, like... I don't know. I get frustrated with the Twitch clips. So if I were you guys, I would certainly be making clips in with the YouTube VOD. I think that's a lot better. What does Dusty drama refer to? I said Destiny drama, bro. You gotta clear out your ears. There is a butt of a lot of buzz. Let me see. I could try to figure this out. Well, the only way to test this is to listen to it on stream. So I don't know. I could unplug and replug this.
Hello?
There's a slight buzz. I don't think it's bad anymore, right? Oh no, there definitely is. Hold on. What if I lift it up like this? Is this gonna fix it? It might be catching vibrations from the table. I don't know. Hold on. What if I lift it up like this? Is this gonna fix it? It might be catching vibrations from the table. I don't know. Hold on. What if I? No, I think this fixes it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I don't know what on the table could be making all this noise. I also have no idea where I could put it to where I fix that. So there is a solution. This should work. I believe in this. Ding dong ding. ding dong, ding dong. Ooh. I hope it's drugs. It's not drugs. I'm just gonna take drugs and then I won't hear it. No, it's a lav mic. I mean, I paid a lot of money for these. I think I should get use out of them, you know what I mean? Okay, let's get this out of here. Ding dong ding, ding ding dong, ding ding dong, ding dong. I wonder if it automatically worked. Probably not. Properties. Ding dong ding, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Hello. Okay, is this any better? I guess I'll be the judge of that. I like your shirt, it's cute. Thanks. You can use exclamation point into the AM to get a link to where to buy that. I'm gonna check the audio real quick. Thanks. You can use exclamation point into the AM to, well, I certainly don't prefer that, but you know, it be what it be. Let's get this ugly thing out of here, huh? RIP. I don't know why we're having vibration issues today, but you know, I deal with what I have to deal with. Do we really prefer sound quality much better with Reg's mic? Lots of ambient noises on the lab. All right, make your fucking decision. You know what I'm gonna do, Twitch chat? You're already upsetting me. I'm gonna do a poll. I'm doing a poll. Which mic to use? And if you're on YouTube, open up Twitch and let me know. Do we want to use the lav or do we want to use the original mic? Ding dong ding, ding dong ding, ding ding dong. The only good vibrations I'm feeling is good vibes. Yeah, I don't know. Time to balance the sides. Yeah, well, hopefully there's no voter tampering going on. I need to finish this glass of water before I drink soda. Anywho, I have no updates on life because, like I said last night, I did timestamps, I went to sleep, and now I'm doing this again. One thing, because I am journaling like pretty regularly to make sure I don't fall off the path of like being pretty happy. Back-to-back streaming about this drama stuff, rough on me, because I don't get to do anything else. Like today I went and I got chilaquiles and I listened to a podcast and that was about it. And then I came home and I had to kind of set up stream. So you know, I'm not able to do a lot if I stream this much. So I think this Dramathon will definitely be a temporary thing. It'll probably be bookended by an IRL stream in San Diego, and then I'll take some time off. Probably enjoy Denmark once I get there and stuff. What podcast? Oh, I don't know. Here, let me see. I say podcast singularly because I don't want to give you the impression that I listen to a ton of stuff, but I listen to Love, which is a podcast by the same lady that made Criminal. And if you're familiar with either of those, they're really, really good. The lady that makes Criminal occasionally will put one of her This Is Love podcasts on Criminal, and then I get duped into listening to it. I prefer Criminal over This Is Love, but it was a nice story about this little boy who went to a Japanese internment camp, and while he was fucking around outside the camp, they came across this magpie baby, and he took care of the magpie baby. And unfortunately, when they were getting ready to leave the camp and everybody else had left and they were one of the last people to stay behind, that the bird passed away. And it was a nice little story about him and this little magpie. And then I listened to Capitalism, What Makes Us Free, on that's a podcast called Throughline by NPR, and I listened to as well. Where is it? The Indicator. The Indicator is a podcast by Planet Money, and that's another NPR podcast. And I think it's like every day of the week they try to pick a number or a statistic or something from the economy, and they call that their indicator, and then they talk about it. And today's podcast was about the insurance companies that were meant to insure music venues, among other things. And it was talking about how a lot of different companies, once the pandemic hit, thought that they were covered insurance-wise for lost wages and things like that. But once they tried to pursue that with the insurance companies, a lot of them lost. And it talked about kind of the difficulty of insurance companies paying for things like pandemics or things like floods in Florida or things like earthquakes in California. And that's because rather than having individual instances of something bad happening, lots and lots of people are going to have the bad thing happen all at once. And that kind of run on the insurance company makes it really difficult to cover everybody and break even. And so oftentimes insurance companies are doing everything that they can to avoid those kinds of things. They don't want to be liable for a massive, event that's going to cause a lot of people all at once to make claims. And so, I listened to that as well. Let's see, I thought there was one more in here, but apparently not. What's difficult is when I listen to something on my podcast app, it like throws it to the end of my queue. Oh, I also listened to Turkey's Runaway Inflation Problem, which is an episode of Planet Money by NPR. They're the same people that make Indicator. That was about how Turkey's person that's in charge, Erdogan, kind of has really far-reaching power that he probably shouldn't have. And part of that far-reaching power is a lot of influence that he holds over the central bank. Normally, your central bank will be separate from a lot of the political institutions so that they can make decisions that would, for a regular politician, hurt them in the short term or hurt them in the medium term for getting elected and stuff like that. And oftentimes, things that the central bank has to do to help curb inflation, which is one of their main jobs, are things that are not going to be popular with the general populace. And so that's why generally you want them to be separate from the people that are being elected into power, because there's going to be some competing interests in there. And Erdogan has this crazy idea in his head that in actuality, inflation operates opposite of what modern monetary theory would tell you. That if you lower interest rates and you keep interest rates low, then inflation will not go up. Now, normally you are going to increase the interest rate on money that people are borrowing from the government or from the central bank, and that's going to cause a ripple effect where other people are going to increase rates on things like housing loans and stuff like that, mortgages, whatever. And that's because there is a level of trust between the central bank and financial institutions. And once the central bank gives you an indication that, hey, we're going to be increasing rates because inflation is happening and we want to kind of curb that and lessen the money supply out there, then everybody else follows. Like, that's the way it works in the United States. But because there's such a huge distrust between the general population and the business world in Turkey and the central bank, because Erdogan has his hands in the central bank, they don't really follow the signals that the central bank gives them. And the central bank isn't giving the right signals to tell people in the economy how they should be behaving. And so Turkey has really huge runaway inflation rates. Like, I think they were talking about how it used to be that a lira, which is Turkey's currency, used to be 1-to-1 with the dollar in, like, I think it was the 60s or the 20s or something. Now it's like, I think thousands or tens of thousands. Like, it's really, really bad. But Erdogan really thinks that if they increase interest rates, that will further spiral the inflation even worse than it currently is. So he refuses to let any of the people who have been in charge of the central bank try and increase interest rates. And every single person who's been in charge of the central bank who's tried to do that, Erdogan has fired them. And this kind of perverse relationship between the president of that country and the central bank has caused a lot of problems for the economy. And Erdogan's kind of crazy ideas about monetary policy that are certainly not bearing any fruit for his people are kind of cucking the Turkish economy. And so, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I listen to. I never ever talk with you guys about the economy or politics or any of that. I don't feel qualified to do it, but the place where I feel really comfortable engaging with it is not on Twitch Politics. It's not on Twitter. It's through a lot of these podcasts and documentaries that I watch. And I actually like just sticking to that a lot more. I feel like it's like having like a healthy diet. I don't have a healthy diet in real life, but I certainly have a healthy diet with like political ideas that I let creep into my brain. That's why I don't really watch a lot of Twitch Politics and stuff, honestly. Interest rate isn't a popular idea among Islamists. Well, I don't know about Islamists, brother. Let me check the poll real quick and see. Oh gosh, where did the poll even go? 32 viewers, 45 votes. Yeah, well, it's the YouTube people coming in. Where are the results for my fucking poll? Where are my results? I hate that my chat window on Twitch is so tiny. Like I can't see what the hell the results were. Original one overwhelmingly, Bing chilling. Well, I can't trust you. Hold on. I guess I have to Control F poll. How annoying. No, that doesn't work. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me make sure that you guys can't see anything you're not supposed to. Well, that's the opposite problem that I thought we were gonna have. Let me try and fix this real quick. There we are. Okay, look at how tiny my Twitch chat window is. How am I supposed to find what I'm looking for here? Oh my goodness. I have to like, bruh, where's the, bruh, I don't know where it is. I don't even know what to Control F for to find it. Oh my God. Where on earth are the results to my fucking poll, bruh? Oh man, I hate life. You're kidding. Is it gone? Ah! Where's my poll? Pop out button? It cuts off. I can't even read what this says. Why is this designed so poorly? Bruh? Where's my poll? It's gone from history. Where's my fucking poll? Ah! Bruh. Where does it tell me my results? It's nowhere in here. Oh my God, can somebody help me? You can see it on the VOD, I think. Bro, I'm not scrolling through a fucking VOD to find it. Lav1, genuinely? I can't trust you. All right, we're having another poll. We're doing a runoff election because I didn't count the tickets / poll. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Clear manipulations? Yeah, I don't think we can honestly trust whatever that poll said. Why doesn't it should tell me in the chat somewhere, but I literally only see people talking. That there's no place where it tells me, like, do I have to wait until this pops up and shows me? Like, Jesus, how shitty. There's no button anywhere. I can't wait till we finish designing BGG, dude. I swear to God. There's so many little things that bother me about like the back end of Twitch and the back end of Restream. Like, let me show you Restream real quick. Restream doesn't give me shit, bruh. I can't even moderate you guys from Restream. I can moderate the YouTube people, but I don't even get to pick how long timeouts are. Like, I can't do shit. Like, it really sucks. Like, if somebody says like, hey, fat cunt, then I have to go over here and like find their name to ban them. Like, it's honestly pretty annoying. Well, now you know a thing to look for BGG to look out for. Yeah, I guess so. But I'm iffy on criminal. They did a story on a particular case, and if you're more familiar with the case, then they did a poor job of accurately representing what happened. I don't really care. Like, a good example of this is hardcore history. I don't really care if you get things wrong, quite honestly. I'm not going there to be informed. I'm going there for somebody to tell me a story. Like I don't care about the Bible as like a good historical source. I think the Bible is there to tell you stories, and that's like its main thing more than telling you the history of like these peoples. And that's the same way I look at like criminal or hardcore history or what's another good example? Like, I care more that NPR gets things right, you know, like I care more about that than I do about criminal getting things right, because I don't really care. Radiolab might be another good example of like, it tells stories, but I do want it to get things correct. Throughline is another example of like, I really hope you get things correct, but I know there's a big skew on Throughline, so I just kind of deal with it. Let's see who's gonna win this. Rip my channel points. Yeah, well, rip your channel points. Blame Twitch for that. Wow, we are neck and neck. That is nutty. That is nutty. I'm surprised so many people want lav. Like, I see my lav mic peaking. So I don't know how you're enjoying the lav mic at all. But I think we would rather have the vibration sound on the other one. Yeah, okay, so we'll do that. We'll do that. Unfortunate. I could probably put a windsock and get out a lot of the nonsense here, but it's not really worth it. Yeah. I think if there's any kind of background noise, you're just gonna have to deal with it. Literally 1984. Well, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Where is this poll? It's already done, dumbass. Yo, Book, I'm gonna be honest here. You need to up or remove the channel point voting. I cast 15 votes out of 55 votes with only 3,000 points. Well, when you watch on Twitch and you rack up those channel points, you literally can't use them on anything else. Every couple of months, I refund everybody their channel points purchases because I don't do any of the channel points things that are listed. So, I don't... So many things about this setup that I don't like, and that if I had my own house, I would make sure everything is set up to be proper. Like that going out of focus or whatever. I don't know. Do you love black people? Hell no. I don't like any people, bro. I hate everybody. Ugh. 4 p.m. on Friday and still have 20 flagged emails to do today. Kill me. Who asked, bro? Looks like a white balance thing. Yeah. They've been telling us for years there's a white balance problem. I didn't believe them until now. Here, let me try and fix this. Open up this. Configure video. The extra light in the shot changes the shot. I don't care, bro. I don't care. I don't care about you telling me how it works. All I care about is like it working again, honestly. No, it's not a white balance problem. You're full of shit. It's something else. Like it may actually be at a technical level a white balance thing, but that's not how you fix it. So it's not helpful for me, for you to tell me that. Actually, I don't care. I'm not gonna fix this. I don't care. We're gonna deal with it. Thank you, anonymous subscriber, for giving a sub to fuck YouTube. Damn, bruh. Hello, Booksmarts and Chat Smarts. Hello, YouTube chat. I'm sorry. That's fair. I just don't think you should use voting as a way to get feedback in that case. And I don't think you should chat. I'm going to be mean today, dude. I'm going to be mean today. So I'm going to give you guys a warning. I didn't get enough sleep. I'm going to be mean today. So I would be careful about chatting today. If you have a weak little heart, if you have the heart of a kitten, I would, you know, tread carefully, friend. You can fix the white balance or have it on auto. Only say no, because okay. Now I'm gonna show you. Now you're gonna force me to show you exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Let me show you, because I don't think that you guys understand things. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you really understand things when I tell them to you. So I am going to actually, I can't show you from this scene. Actually, I can't show you. Never mind. Yeah, I'm not gonna show you. Actually, you're gonna have to stay in the dark and stay ignorant. Because I'm not going to. Actually, I think I could do this. I think I could just add another one of these. I think it's this one. Okay, cool. Yeah, so if I go down or up to this webcam here, and I go to configure video, which is the only options you have for changing this stuff, and you go over to here, you could go over to your white balance thing, but I'll show you right now that that's not really going to change anything about the way that this works in the way that you think. So if I uncheck the auto and I slide this around, it's very clearly not changing what the problem is. The problem is not fixable by unlocking and changing the white balance. So when you say it's a white balance issue, perhaps at a technical level, the way that this camera is processing things, it is a white balance issue. But the problem is when you tell me that, it doesn't really correspond to any control that I can use to fix this, right? Because I can't stop what's happening by taking the white balance off of auto. And if I go back like this is, if anything, I would say it's probably more of a contrast thing, but the contrast is already set to whatever. Like, look, this clearly doesn't fix anything either. And so unfortunately, we have imperfect controls here for fixing things. And that's kind of part of the problem. And like, if I go here to exposure, like this clearly is not fixing anything. So this is an unfortunate part of streaming, is that these tools are like really imperfect, and there aren't very clear ways of like fixing these things. Now I'm gonna check the chat, and I'm gonna, you know, see if you guys have any suggestions now that you understand what I'm looking at. But it's not for real. It's exposure. Yes, it is. Lower it. That was good. Turn the white to off. You can fix it. Okay. Oh God, it's Jay. I don't even trust you, Chow. I don't. If anybody other than Chow answers, then I can trust you. But Chow is not exactly the guy that I'm gonna look to for answers on this. Have you tried banging on the side? There we go. That's a real suggestion. Ignore them. Yeah, I'm gonna just ignore the lot of you. What have I done? Your sister got timed out yesterday, Chow. I timed out Aiko or your aunt, I think is the meme. I timed out your aunt yesterday. Be careful, Chow. That's all I would tell you. You don't need to do anything bad to get timed out in this chat anymore. This is a military state. I have taken over. I'm like Erdogan, bro. I got my hands in the cookie jar, okay? Racist smarts? That's your own meme, bro. Aiko got timed out? Yeah, she did. Aiko types like a teenage girl. And I can't have it, dude. She spams my whole monitor, and I can't really read my chat. You can also fix it with a better webcam. This is like the best webcam that I can buy. Okay. Yeah. Let's not talk about technical stuff. Let's literally just get into let's just get into the show, because I'm not gonna have fun talking with you guys about technical stuff. That's for damn sure. All right, let's delete this and get this out of my face. Where is delete? Remove. Okay, how intuitive. All right, let's check out. I think it should be vote suggestions. It should all be in here. Oh God, there's gonna be a ton of spam, and I'm gonna have to sort through this. It sounds and looks fine from here. I don't care. Book, I timed out your sister last night. Smarts. Yeah, I did. Just hold your hands up like Moses. No thanks, dude. Where are we? What are we looking for? We're looking for the Destiny 1v9 panel. It might be this. From ages ago. No. I like Aiko a lot. Nice. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Why does this have 10 thumbs down? Oh my goodness. What is going on here? This is the one, right? Like, why does it have 10 down? Is this not something we should watch? I'm confused. Because, like, I did want to figure out what the fuck happened and what are his transports takes and to, like, chime in on that, but the panelists voted lol. Well, the good thing is that on Discord, I can actually see all who put what reactions. So, Jesus, who voted yes? Okay. There you go. There's the voter records for you guys. Damn, everybody and their mama voted no. Jesus Christ. It's just boring. It's really boring. Yeah, trans stuff is boring. Do we want to watch that? Then I thought August was like posting different stuff that we could look at on the Destiny channel. Like my watch later should have a bunch of stuff. Let's see. Watch later. It's boring. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we have Destiny on Vosh being spiteful. Answer the question. Panelists confront Lauren Southern. This. No, I probably don't want to watch that. Getting hired by a scam company. Destiny opens up about his permaban on Cancel Me podcast. Destiny reacts to Lefty celebrating his Twitch ban on the debate panel. So, you know, what it means for the future. So lots of people have gotten in on this. I watched a little bit of this Devin Nash thing. I don't think I watched the full thing. I wanted to save it for stream. I've not watched any bit of any of the other ones, though. Let's see here. I'm going to open up this so I can see my YouTube chat. The same takes everyone has had since the beginning. I don't know what takes, important context. I don't know about what takes anybody has about anything. I don't know. Like, here's the unfortunate thing. The world is transphobic. Trans people, a lot of the world just don't like you because they don't understand you. And a common bit of human nature is that people don't like stuff that they don't understand. So a lot of people don't understand trans people or transness or anything adjacent to trans people. And because they don't know anything about it, they get real scared and they don't like you. So if I were to guess what like the average person believes, is probably not in line with what the debate people say that they believe. And that discrepancy often leads me to like not really understanding what it is that the Twitch people will come up with. Because what they're doing is they're formulating arguments that are going to work online, that are going to like be able to be picked apart and are going to work in opposition to other people. And what they're not doing is like looking at what everybody thinks. So I don't have any real intuitive way of guessing what Twitch people think about anything or what politics people think about anything, because the only good model in my brain that I have is like how the average person thinks. And my guess on what the average person would think about trans people in sports is that they really shouldn't be in sports. And frankly, they probably don't care what that consequence is for trans people. Like, well, then where do trans people go that are in high school that want to do sports? I don't know. I don't care. I would assume that's where they're at. What they don't want to see is men who transition to be women competing against other women who are cis and have been women their whole life or whatever, and have gone through puberty as women, is I think the way that you guys word it, to be all PC and whatever. And so I think that's what they're mostly afraid of. I don't think that the average person, if you drill them down on it, really cares if female to males compete against other males. I don't think they really care about that. There's just something about the idea, because a lot of people don't think that, trans women are women at all. They picture them as men in dresses. So if a man in a dress goes into a girl's sporting event and whoops the ass of every single girl, or even wins one time, and here's the thing, is we talk about dominating sports. I don't think the average person only exclusively will care about this if trans people are dominating. I really don't think that's where their brain is at. Realistically, I think you could have like a room full of normal parents at a high school in like some rural part of the United States, and they would feel upset by watching a trans woman who they've clocked as a trans woman beat their daughter in like a sporting event. I don't think it matters if that person is like taking home gold or whatever. I think that they don't like the idea of them competing in clobbering, their daughters or girls in their community, and I think that's what they're mostly concerned about. But what the Twitch people care about, or what the Twitch people think about this, I have no idea, dude. Yeah, it's only an issue when they're winning or having competed. Yeah, I don't know. I could see them even getting mad if their daughter got like fouled. Like if they're playing basketball and their little girl caught an elbow. Like I don't know. I could see them just getting upset in general. I just don't think they want trans people competing against cis people, honestly. Just give them their own league. I don't think that's a good solution. That's got to be one of the most boneheaded things I've heard of. I would sooner support the idea of not allowing them to play in sports at all than I would support the idea of creating like a trans only league. I think that just doesn't make sense for a gazillion different reasons. And the other thing is, like, I remember being a high school student, you're going to basically create the equivalent of like special ed, but for trans people in sports. And I don't think that that's really what any kid is going to want. No kid wants to compete in something where like there's maybe 3 people in their entire county that they could compete with. Like no trans person is going to want to wrestle with like 2 other people from across the entire state and have to practice independent of everybody else and be treated different. Like, I think you're creating way more of a problem than you're really acknowledging there. And so like, no, I wouldn't support that. I would rather that you just tell them they can't play sports than I would that you create their own league for them. And that's not a matter of like excluding them from stuff. That's a matter of like, I don't know, creating a really ripe environment for people to get bullied and shit, dude. I don't know. That's the problem, though. There are no good solutions here. Well, I haven't thought about it long enough to come to the conclusion that there are no good conclusions. And if you have, and you've sat there for, 5 years thinking only about this and reading literature, perhaps you're more educated than me on the topic. But I certainly don't feel competent saying there's no good problem here because we couldn't come up with something in the moment. I don't know, dude. Let's just have unisex sports. It's the same outcome as trans people in sports. I honestly think that's a much better solution than them having their own league. It probably makes a lot more sense for trans people to just like to just mix everybody up together, men, women, whatever, and then just like judge them based on how good they are. Like, we already have an equivalent system in the varsity, junior varsity, and then Frosh-Soft system that we have in high schools. So, and this may be an America specific thing, so I'll explain it for anybody who doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. When you go into sports in high school, I'll use my example of volleyball to explain this. You have Frosh-Soft, which is freshmen and sophomores. That's going to be the 2 first years that you're going to be in high school. High school is 4 years long. And basically, if you're a freshman that wasn't like super good, you didn't really know how to play the sport, whatever, but you're somewhat competent, you're coachable, whatever, maybe you'll be invited to be on the Frosh-Soft team and you'll play with those people. And then if you're a sophomore and you played last year or you didn't play last year and you still have to learn the game and you're essentially a freshman for all things considered, you're probably also going to be included in there. Or if you just kind of suck and you've gone to clubs and stuff and you've trained in volleyball and whatever and you know everything, but you just suck, you're probably going to still be in Frosh-Soft. Then you have JV, junior varsity. This is going to be for people that really show promise, that are freshmen and sophomores, that are like new to high school. We're going to put them in there so that they have more one-on-one time with a coach and they're playing with other people that are more competent, so that we give them the opportunity to train and maybe hit varsity their next year when they're a sophomore. And so freshmen can make it into JV. Sometimes freshmen can also make it into varsity, which is the highest thing. Oftentimes that's a lot of seniors. That's people who have been through volleyball clubs, throughout their life. It's people who have been through the volleyball program at the school and who perform really, really well. And that varsity is going to be your highest tier that you could be in. Freshman people don't often make it into varsity, though it's going to depend on how many students you have that are enrolling in the program and how good the program is, right? Like if you have a cross-country program that only has 20 students and all the students basically suck ass and they're doing it so that they don't have to do PE, and you're the only one that takes it seriously, and then maybe you make it into varsity because you're one of like 5 people in the entire school that took it seriously, right? But that's how it's broken up. So there is a skill thing here, as well as kind of mirroring also your 4 years in school. And I don't see why we couldn't just apply that and then mix, for different sports. Though some sports this can't be done for, right? So that's not a solution to everything. But for sports like cross country and stuff, I think it could be. I think it would frustrate a lot of female people that they don't have their own league to shine, because I think female people will find it to be more fair to compete against other females. I don't know where to start with this, because I think that some people, I don't even have them at the basic point of accepting that like males have a different like physiology than females. And when you're starting that far behind the starting line of like being rational about this discussion, I have no way of reaching you. So like for those people, I honestly just don't care to talk with you. I can't really talk with you because it's a lot like, if I'm a politician that wants to do very progressive, normal things, and you're a religious fundamentalist extremist who is living in the mountains and wants to implement Sharia law, like we're way off from where we're starting from. And I think that you're way behind the mark. So I don't even feel like I can communicate with you about like realistic solutions because you're kind of crazy. And of course, you probably think I'm crazy, right? And that's half of it. So yeah, I don't know. I could see women being upset at that. And it's probably going to be the same women who are susceptible to being upset about trans women in general and become TERFs and stuff like that because they don't like the idea of trans women taking on the identifying bit of like growing up as a woman or whatever. They really want to defend womanhood. I think similar people are going to feel the same way about both. So I don't know, complicated topic. That's kind of my whole like TLDR of like my overview of the situation. I'm happy to hear you out on other stuff. If you want to argue with me or you disagree, I don't want to hear it, dude. I don't want to argue with you about trans stuff. This stuff doesn't impact me. I'm not a trans person. I don't have trans kids. I don't have any kids that go to school. Like, I'm so far from this topic that I don't feel like I should have really a say in any of it. I'm just giving you like my thoughts, and I don't really care to debate it. But if you have other things to consider, like other solutions and things like that, I would love to hear them. But if you're like, Booksmarts, you're wrong about blah, blah, because blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, but I'm going to skip you. It's not as fun to talk with you as it is going to be somebody that's like adding something new to the table here. That was my frustration wrestling. I only got to JV and couldn't make it over the hump into varsity because as a girl, I was just less competitive. Yeah, it's going to be tough. When you mix everybody and shuffle them all together, men are going to outperform women on average. Maybe even men that are like not super good performers. Like some of the worst people on our cross country team could still outperform most of the women on the women's cross country team, right? Like, and long distance running is one of those things where like women actually can beat out men. Although I think that's more so at like ultra marathon levels where you're doing like 100-mile runs and stuff like that. But still, I think that's going to be a difficulty with shuffling everybody together for sure. And that's going to apply to wrestling as well, obviously. Seems like you either think trans women aren't women or there is a difference between men and women. I don't know, dude. I had a good record of wins/losses, but I wasn't exceptional even enough when compared to the guys. Yeah, I would imagine. Can we get to the real issues though, like abortion? Should we really limit the ability for is this too far? Honestly, I'm a big states' rights guy. If a state wants to vote to like restrict abortion, I think that's totally within the rights of the states until the federal government tells them otherwise. And I know that we've had that Supreme Court ruling, but I think that privacy has to be one of like the lamest. Like I understand. I was taught in school. I've listened to a lot of podcasts with really smart people explain it. I still do feel like using privacy as the means of defending abortion rights feels to me to be an imperfect solution. I like a lot of things with like this privacy defense feel like they're on really shaky grounds, and all it takes is like a political turn of will and all of that goes away. And I think we're starting to see that with some states getting wise about ways of getting around Roe v. Wade. So I worry that the legs that, you know, abortion rights stand on are very shaky. And I don't like that. But at the same time, I do believe that these states should have the right to vote about what they want to restrict in their state. If the federal government doesn't explicitly say that they can't, or doesn't explicitly take that power. So yeah, like if a bunch of people live in Utah and like it's like a ton of Mormon people, and Mormon people are all the people that vote, and the maybe majority of people who would otherwise vote for abortion stuff don't turn out to vote, I'm sorry, but the voting populace of that place is going to be able to determine what people are able to do. And, you know, to some extent, I think that should impact where you choose to live in your state. Now, it sucks if you don't have the ability to move and you can't move to another state and whatever. I get it can be really frustrating. People in financial situations that are not good, that's going to suck for them too. But I think that you have to kind of compel the people in your community, and you kind of have to, if you can't move, then you got to take some responsibility to try and influence the people in your state and be a part of some movement to overthrow that. And it's not something that we can immediately fix. I think we often get frustrated looking at problems that are immediate problems that lack an immediate solution. And we get really, really, really frustrated at the idea that it might take 20 to 60 years to like overthrow something, and that feels like tyrannical to us. But the older and older I get, the more and more I feel that that's like probably a good barrier for a gazillion other issues that you're not thinking of. And so I don't know, I think the state should be able to vote to like restrict abortion and stuff like that. I don't think that the federal government should, though. And I think that we probably need to do something better about like what laws protect people's ability to get abortions, because I don't think Roe v. Wade is like as great as, it's not a perfect solution is what I would say. But like personally, I think that people should be able to go get abortions, of course, because I don't follow a holy book that tells me a bunch of bullshit about how to live and how I should govern people, right? And I think a huge problem that we have in the United States, a huge problem that we see in other countries too, like Poland, is that religious people have a good bit of control over government and the levers of power, and religious people are using the levers of power to reflect what they believe morally should be done based on their religion or based on what their communities like. I think that's like a huge problem, and that's the main problem with abortion. I don't think that most atheist people have like a ton of problems with abortion, really. And if they do, it's because they've thought a long time about it. I don't think that's like a regular thing. So, you know, it's unfortunate that religion is having that kind of impact there. And that's what really frustrates me about that. But I think people should be able to get abortions for sure. However, I also think that abortion shouldn't be something that is that everybody is okay. Now we're gonna get into problems. Okay, so I actually rather than give you my take, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to recommend to you a podcast, because what I want to do more of on this stream is share with you guys media and voices that have a big impact on me. And so I want to share with you guys a story from Radiolab, and this is by WNYC Studios. Radiolab is a really, really cool podcast where they take voices and interviews from all sorts of people, and they compile it together with a really, really, really good soundtrack to try and tell an overarching story about a particular topic, or to give you insight into maybe the life and experience of a particular kind of people. And one of these shows, let me make sure I pick the right one. I gotta figure out which one it is. If anybody's familiar, the problem is I've listened to so many of these that I'm not entirely sure which one it was. I think it might have been. Let's see, is it the right? No, it's not the right stuff. Inheritance, maybe. I don't know which one it is. Here, I'll look it up because I really want to make sure I recommend the right episode of this. Let's see, it's going to be Radiolab. Oops. Okay, it's definitely G unfit. I'm gonna say that it's probably G unfit. Yeah, it's G, semicolon or colon, whatever, the two dots, and then unfit, all one word. And one of the stories that they talk about is this woman who she couldn't have children, and so she really wanted to have a children. So she went out and she was trying to adopt. And one day, she gets a message from her adoption agency person, and they're like, hey, so we have this newborn, because she wanted a newborn. She's like, but she's not like newborn. She's 8 months old. And the lady was like, okay, well, that's fine. 8 months is fine. I don't think there's a huge difference between 8 months and newborn, whatever. And they were like, there's one other catch with this baby. And that's that she is suffering because the mother was addicted to heroin and other drugs. So the problem is that if you're addicted to those things and you're regularly taking them while you're pregnant, the baby develops an addiction to those same substances. And setting aside the effects on your mental and other physical things about the baby is going to come out of the womb addicted to whatever it was that you were taking regularly. And so that's going to be a very, very unhappy baby. It's going to be crying all the time. It's going to have numerous health issues that we're going to want to keep an eye on. So it's unfortunate, but that's what happens when a pregnant mother continues to take drugs while they're pregnant. But the lady said, sure, not a problem. I understand what that would entail. And she adopted the little girl. Less than a year later, she gets another call. Hey, are you still looking to adopt children? And the lady said, yeah, maybe. I kind of want to get like another sibling for this kid. And we've managed with this one pretty well. And the lady says, okay, because the same mother that gave birth to the last kid gave birth again. And again, it's going to have the same issues because the lady did not get off of drugs. And she said, oh, okay. Oof. All right. I'm in. And then the adoption person tells them, okay. And another thing, she didn't just have one kid. She had twins. So the lady adopts both the twins. She adopted the last kid as well. Another year passes, and she gets another call. The lady is pregnant again, and the kid is impacted the same way the last three were because the lady's addicted to drugs, and she hasn't gotten off drugs. So this keeps going, and this lady ends up with 6 kids. So what this lady ends up taking out of this situation is that, these people who are on drugs are not making like the best decisions in their life. And that is demonstrated at the very least by their continued use of drugs, setting aside the pregnancy thing. So people who are not of the right mind, they're not in the right mind, they're addicted to drugs and they are hurting this thing that they're bringing up inside of them, and then they give birth to it and they have no way of caring for it, and then it gets put up for adoption, and we hope that gets to the right lady. These kids were lucky that they got to this lady who had a good house and she raised them up well and they went to college and they ended up being cool kids. That doesn't happen all the time. And you're taking a gamble with every single kid you have that you put in that system because you can't take care of them. And so what she takes it upon herself to do is to lobby the government for some kind of change here, to pass some kind of legislation to tackle this problem. She looks for a bunch of different social solutions or community solutions or legal solutions that could fix this. And she's constantly told that there aren't, and that nobody would take up that cause, and the kinds of laws you would need to write to restrict these people's, reproductive rights it's not happening. And so out of frustration, what she does is she takes from her own money, she decides that I will pay these women who are addicted to drugs to either get an IUD or other kind of like medium-term, birth control, or to get sterilized, to have their tubes tied. And so what she does is she goes out and she reaches out to these people that are having kids that are addicted to drugs. They're not seeking any kind of rehabilitation stuff right now. And they're at risk of having another kid because of their lifestyle. And she offers them money to get these procedures done. And I think when she talks at the end of the story, she mentions that it was over 4,000 people that she did this with. And so then we enter into a territory where I feel like the reality of what I think about the world comes up with like the kind of PC expectations that we're taught, in that I actually agree with the actions of this lady, even though I have a bunch of things on the other side telling me not to. The idea of the history of eugenics in this country and across the world, the idea of social Darwinism, these kinds of ideas. I don't think that this lady's actions are driven by social Darwinism or eugenics or these sorts of things. And especially if what she's doing is giving them access to IUDs and not sterilizing them, I actually think that that's like a pretty solid way that somebody who had no other way of influencing like the world and in fixing this problem, she did what she could. She adopted 6 fucking kids and raised them all the way until they were adults. She provided them a good home. She advocated for whatever political change would be possible. She did everything she could, but she can't fix that problem through those channels. And so she took this other route. I agree with that other route. And the reporters were so uncomfortable at the end of this story with that. And they mentioned, with the history of eugenics in the country and with this, with that. And it is just unconvincing to me. And often with these social issues in our country, I feel this way. And this happens with abortion as well. I'm in general in support of people being able to get abortions. However, I think that if people are using abortions as primarily a tool of birth control regularly, I think that there needs to be some kind of substantial punishment for this, or some kind of way to de-incentivize people to do that, because I think that's a very real problem that we have to confront. And I think that if we're going to enable open access to abortions and stuff like that, I think that there should be an obligation on states and on communities that want to encourage that to also encourage contraceptives, to also encourage sex education. This is a multifaceted thing. I don't think it's as simple as giving people open access to abortions. Imagine if we go to a state where they have really, really poor sexual education laws, and they have really, really, really poor access to contraceptives and sexual education maybe in general. If that's the case, you have a hotbed for abortions as an emergency means of birth control that I wouldn't really agree with and I would want to curb. So, that's the way I feel about that issue. I just don't know what that would look like practically, and I don't know if I could stomach coming up with it or dealing with it in the way that this lady dealt with the issue with these parents that were addicted to drugs. I don't know if I could make that leap. but I would certainly support people or organizations that chose to take that leap. And I think that maybe a lot of people who are anti-abortion are similar, although they're much more extreme than me. Maybe they want to prevent it in general. Maybe they don't think any abortions are good. But like at an empathy level, I think I can understand that frustration, that fear that they have. And so when people are like really rude against like anti-abortion people, I don't know, I kind of feel like they don't understand in a way that like I feel like you could pretty readily understand. And that's a frustrating thing about Twitch too, is like when you listen to these conversations with a bunch of lefty people who are all more or less lefty people, or maybe there's one or two uber conservative people in there, there's just such a big disconnect from, I think, like the human way that people feel about anti-abortion, or the way that they feel about sterilization, or the way that they feel about this issue with, you know, drug addicted mothers that are constantly getting pregnant and then giving up the kids. And I don't know if they have all like the mental or emotional faculties to like really confront that. I think people rely on their rationality a lot in ways that I don't know if it's good, because it keeps you separated from like the average populace and the way that they feel. And I think that if you only wrote laws and policies and you were able to acquire power operating solely off of this like rational, you know, approach that you have, you're going to create a society that's very difficult to live in for the average person. And that's why I worry a little bit about the ideas and the kind of culture of these kinds of debate communities and stuff catching on at all. That's why I like to discourage you from engaging with it too much, because I think it misses something human that's at the heart of like policy making and stuff. And I think that's a bit of a tough thing. Anywho, there's my rant. So we covered everything from trans people in sports to how the average person treats trans people to abortion and to the story from NPR. And again, the podcast would be, let me check real quick. That would be Radio Lab. And the episode would be G:"Unfit." I would highly recommend you give it a listen. What I haven't told you about that episode, and this will be the last thing I say, and then I'll read my chat, okay? I try not to read it while I'm doing the rant because I'll get distracted. Another really beautiful part of that episode is they talk about a woman who is developmentally handicapped, we'll say, by a lot. She has the shakes and the shudders, and there's the speech impediment, and she couldn't speak for a while after she was born. She was developmentally stunted, and she wanted to have a kid. And even the people that supported her, even the people that wanted her to thrive, that were her support structure for interacting with the world or living day to day, even they discouraged her from having kids. But she always wanted to have kids. She always wanted to have a baby. And it felt like even the people who loved her and supported her discouraged her from having a kid. They didn't think it'd be a smart idea. They didn't think she would be capable of being a mother. They're worried. And what sucks is when you go to have kids, and this is something that my parents have gone through, friends of mine have gone through, you're scared a lot of the time. There's excitement, sure, but there's a lot of fear there. And if you compound that fear with like everybody in your life telling you that you can't be a good mother, right? And I don't think that was the message of the woman doing the sterilization thing either. I don't think she thought that these women couldn't be good mothers, because what she talks about in her story are the letters and messages she received from people after they got clean, who then went and had kids, right? Because a lot of these people are getting IUDs. They're not getting sterilized. And or people who had to give up their kids, who adopted them back, who ended up taking them back once they got clean, and about how helpful this lady was. She says, and we have to take this with a grain of salt, not a single person came to her with any bit of regret about the decision to either get sterilized or to get access to longer term, birth control. Not a single one. But an overwhelming number of people sent her messages, thankful that she had reached out to them at that time. And, getting back to this lady who's developmentally challenged, she ends up having a kid. And for all intents and purposes, she seems like a good mom. She enjoys it. And this kid who isn't pressured by society to think anything about her, the kid doesn't mind if she like rocks back and forth, or if she's stimming, or that she talks funny, or any of these things. That kid is like just a pure bundle of love, and it loves the mom, and she loves it, and she hasn't had any problems. Now, there are things she still worries about, like what if I forget to do this, or what if my emotions get out of control a little bit and I have like a fit or something like that. But they were far into the kid being alive, and nothing of the sort. And that's not something that's unique to people who are developmentally challenged, or people who are handicapped, or people who are disabled, or whatever. That applies to anybody. Anybody could lose their temper and accidentally hurt their kid, or anybody could make a mistake or forget something, or be too busy or just make a decision that is for their benefit at the detriment of their kids. This isn't something unique to disabled people, right? And so it's a really, really good episode. I would highly recommend it, because we go across all of that. And I think that episode also talks about some old legislation that allowed for the forced sterilization of people who were deemed unfit. And that's where the name of the episode comes from. And I think that's the foot in the door to talk about this issue. So there's that. Highly recommend it. Anywho, now I'm going to pay attention to my chat a little bit. So a lot of what I've taken here has been from that show. So I really do recommend that you give it a listen. It's just like, I know a lot of you won't. And so maybe it's okay that I give you that kind of summary, and I give you my thoughts on it, because maybe otherwise you wouldn't have had access to these stories or these ideas. And I think that like these things have a big impact on me. I love listening to this stuff. It's huge. And I think I want to start sharing that stuff with you guys more. And if I'm going to do something like watching this thing about Destiny getting banned on Twitch, reproductive rights of people with disabilities, or people who are addicted, right? Like, and these are like very real stories by like experienced journalists who are like putting something together that's like worthwhile. So, I think that this is probably something you guys should spend more time on. But now we will do entertainment. I'm going to answer all these chats, and then we're going to shift gears. We're going to go into entertainment mode, turn your brain off, have fun, entertainment. With whatever it is that has happened with the Destiny ban. I kind of want to give you that taste of that, because I have energy for it right now, and I've meditated, so I'm feeling more okay with being in a headspace where I could do it than if I'm tired and frustrated at the end of whatever it is that we're about to watch. So there you go. Isn't that wonderful? You can share the stuff you're passionate about. I love that. Yeah, you guys tell me to all the time. You in particular, Cats. So I'm trying to do more of that, and looking for opportunities to do that, even if it costs me time or money or whatever else. Pikachu. Yeah, Pikachu. I figured as a decoration, maybe it's better to have the jacket in frame. You look and sound like the most decent guy in the universe. Well, I'm happy I sound like that. Not everybody would agree, though. No first-time parent goes into having it figured out. Yeah, and that made me feel really bad for the ladies. Like, what if not only do I have the normal fears that you would have as a first-time parent, but coupled onto that, everybody who you love and respect, and who loves and respects you in your life, isn't confident that you would do a good job of it, that they are concerned as well. Like, for, I think, an able-bodied regular person with a traditional family dynamic, they have a lot of support to have kids, and everybody is going to pitch in and is happy for them and whatever. It's sad to think that this person didn't have that going into it. They have all of the regular fears that anybody would have, and coupled on to that, they have no support really from other people. And that felt really bad to me. It was sad to think about. I've heard that abortion as birth control is an issue for teens in Cuba, where abortion has been legalized for a while. Yeah, maybe. ¿Has ido a Mamitas Puebla? Wait, no? It turns out if you listen to NPR a lot, you end up with pretty good takes. Yeah, maybe. If it's a reversible birth control method like an IUD, this really doesn't seem that controversial. But it is, because and here is kind of the problem with this debate bro stuff, and with your principles and with your mental framework that you use to process everything in the world. If you are against the idea of eugenics for a very multifaceted number of reasons, and you take that to the extreme of like, I just don't think we should be influencing the gene pool or who's able to have kids based on things like their socioeconomic status, their lifestyle decisions, things like that. And you manage to or disabilities, and you classify addiction as a disability. If you classify addiction as a lifestyle choice, right? Then you run into this issue where you are encouraging the restriction of reproductive rights of people who maybe aren't able to advocate for themselves super well. You're taking advantage of their socioeconomic class by giving them this money to persuade them to do this thing that is going to have very long-term consequences for them. A person who is not in the right mind to understand long-term consequences, hence the issue with the pregnancy in the first place, is being duped into this short-term gain. If you have somebody who is addicted to heroin out on the streets and you offer them $300, I could imagine that there are a lot of things that could be detrimental to that person that they would do for $300. Granted, depending on your opinion on this, you may not think it's detrimental for that person to get an IUD. You may think that's actually a good thing for their life. But therein lies the issue, is if your principles and your beliefs exist for these other things and you have that worry about eugenics, those alarm bells are going to start ringing in this situation, and you're going to feel compelled to be against it. And that's where I think that rigidity of thought is a hindrance to you. Because I would argue that, yeah, like when we zoom out, I think that this is fine, especially when it's temporary. I think it's very easy to accept it. Yeah, you know, like, but therein lies the dilemma, right? With that multifaceted belief about eugenics, or about the kind of taking advantage of people that are in lower classes or a different, you know, mental space. Hope he repeats the last stream. I was halfway through watching it when I was blocked. Just like how I can agree with Batman's actions, but I believe vigilantes. Okay, you got like a gazillion part thing here. You can agree with an individual. Also, you said this woman is loaded. So you have to realize that this lady, and here is the power of political action. This lady was politically involved. This lady had lobbied with a lot of other mothers and a lot of other community members to try and get change done politically or in a community sense. She had a good support structure of people who could easily bankroll an operation like this, right? So when we're talking about this lady is loaded, I don't think that this is being financed from this individual lady's finances. I am almost certain that she has backers that are putting money into this because they can't put that money into the political levers of power to get any change done. So anything that would be rooted through there gets rooted through her to do this. So I don't think this lady has done this to 4,000 people out of her own pocketbook. I would imagine that there are a lot of people supporting her financially. You can agree with an individual situation while also acknowledging that if it became a systemic mechanism, it could be abused in incredibly harmful ways that may not be worth it. Yeah, and this is one of those ideas that can pull you out of that strict rational framework type thinking that we see a lot of the time in these spaces. And I see us make fun of creators for sometimes having this, like the SERPs. I talk about how he has the 1 foot in cement sometimes. I actually do think it is helpful to have some of these overriding procedures in your brain to override these rational systems. But somebody like Steven will tell you, if you secretly have these protocols to override a rational decision, then your rational system is actually that thing, right? But you can't build a really solid framework around like, well, you know, it could become a systemic thing. And then if it's a systemic thing, I get upset. Okay, well, now we need to talk about where is the line there. And I don't think that you or me, frankly, would be interested in figuring out where is the line between this is okay because it's an individual thing versus, oh, this is becoming a systemic mechanism and now it's a problem. Perhaps it gets written in the state legislature. Perhaps it's public funding goes towards it. Perhaps it's you draw that line at the federal level. Everybody's going to have a different thing here. But I don't think the point is to then incorporate that in and try to make that a part of your larger rational system. I think most people think in terms of broader principles and ideas and things like that, and they play those selectively in order to arrive at a conclusion or to think through things. And I think that's more akin to the way that people think about things rather than really forming deep grooves of a rational system and then forcing every single idea in action through that rational system to figure out where it's going to wind up. I don't think most people think like that. And I think the people that pretend that they do think like that are becoming several steps removed from their humanity and the humanity of the people around them. And that's going to breed a lot of frustration with the way that normal people think through problems, or stupid people think through problems, or hypocrites, or whatever other labels they give to people who they don't clock as operating in that way, where they're constantly following that framework. But I think that that person as well is not always following that framework. And it's just a matter of finding the right thing to shake up the whole system for them to realize that. But then they immediately go into the defense mode of, well, I'm merely patching my system now, and I'll work on that patch. And then at the end of that, my rational system will be right back up and running. We just had a little bit of a spill off over there, not a problem, and I just don't think that's how that's working. What a fucked up situation. Yeah. Let's see here. How rich is this woman? Yeah, I answered that. There's sober people unable to take care of kids too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. And like I said before, there's able-bodied people when we make the comparison, disabled people, right? So yeah. So that's that whole thing. I think that's a really good podcast. Would highly recommend that you guys give it a listen. I want to get back into listening to NPR. I haven't listened regularly since sophomore year of high school. I love it. NPR has so many good podcasts. Like to just give you a few off the top of my feed. You have Radio Lab. I believe that they do criminal as well. No, sorry, not Radio Lab. My bad. I'm already fucking up. They have Throughline, they have The Indicator, they have Planet Money, they have, oh man, I could probably open up NPR and see everything. They have a ton of really good podcasts. NPR is great. And they're all very different. They have very different kinds of hosts. They all have a similar political slant, granted, but wonderful storytelling, wonderful audio engineering work. Like, I think Radiolab in particular, they don't use soundtracks over and over and over again. What they'll do is they'll create things specifically for each episode to try and evoke emotions or to try and even sometimes to tell a story. Like, I would imagine if I was somebody who was blind, Radiolab might be one of my favorite podcasts that I've ever listened to, because there are times when I'll just lay in my bed and I'll close my eyes, and Radiolab does such a good job with like using the music to tell a story just as much as it's using the words to tell a story. And often these two things are moving in parallel and in a way that I just don't see with other podcasts. And so that's why I love that show in particular. Let's see here. What about parenting licenses, legal abortion, some kind of proof of ability to raise a kid? Perhaps. But then again, remember, if we have these principles about socioeconomic issues and things like that, I think you're going to run into a problem there where the people of low economic standing are going to be punished for not having licenses and having kids because they can't get a license for this reason or that reason, right? Or perhaps they honestly have tried to get the licenses and they failed. And maybe they failed because they have a disability and they're not able to perform well in the tests. We already have a problem with making tests represent the reality of like having a skill or having a grasp on information as it is. We see this with standardized testing. To create a test that measures whether or not you are competent enough to be a parent is a difficult thing. And to put the government in a position where it creates the standards for what a good parent is or isn't I don't think in America, at least, we'll ever be at the point, knock on wood, that the government will ever be allowed to make that kind of decision. Perhaps in a country like China, the social climate and the political climate are very different. Maybe they could, but I think here they definitely wouldn't ever. And I'm thankful for that, because I don't really want the government put in a position where it is the arbiter of whether or not you can have kids. I think reproductive rights are something we want to be very, very careful about. And that's the worry with using government as a means of fixing that, whether that's a state government or the federal government. I really do think that this should be a communal thing, and the community should do it, which is why I'm supportive of the woman who decided to go out there and pay these people who are addicted to not have kids. Because I just don't see another solution where I'm not really worried about impacts that are not something that we would want to happen, unexpected issues, right? I think there are a lot of unexpected issues that I could already come up with if we put that job in the hands of the government, or even a private organization or anything like that. I think this kind of rogue behavior of this woman is probably way more preferable than that. And that's what I think. And honestly, if enough of her community went against her to prevent her from being able to do this, I think they could do so in a way that ends up benefiting the very people who are struggling with this pregnancy issue. Like, if they were to invest in programs that help people who are on drugs more, perhaps those people aren't going to be persuaded by an extra $300 because they're supported by their community in efforts to get them weaned off of drugs, or give them access to drugs that are cleaner, that aren't going to be that are going to have problems, things like this, right? Or best of all, make sure that we reduce the number of people who are addicted to drugs, such that people like this lady don't ever come into being, because there isn't a significant problem that they feel compelled to go out there and solve in the first place. And I think that could be another positive of approaching it in a communal way, or putting fire under the butts of people in power to consider doing something about this in a roundabout way to solve the issue. Maybe not policing the reproductive rights of individuals, but helping individuals who have addiction problems. There's multiple ways of solving this issue because there's multiple variables that are problematic here. Their Planet Money podcast is good. Yeah, I like Planet Money a lot. Let's see here. I guess we do have to somewhat draw a line somewhere when we're talking about policy. I'd still say, as a general policy, being pro-choice sounds better to me, even if there are situations where we would need to make exceptions. Yeah, I think at a larger level, we want to be pro-choice, like at a federal level for sure. At a state level, maybe not so much for me, but maybe for you, yeah. And then, let communities decide, let doctors decide, let private industry decide, let interest groups that help people decide, right? Like, I don't think that anybody ever talks about this because it's not going to be something that's going to be in your favor. But there are a lot of charities and a lot of community organizations that will try and assist you with taking care of your kid and getting things to you that you need so that you don't go and get an abortion, right? So there are community solutions as well and charity solutions as well that will come in to try and help with that, right? And yeah, I could see you drawing the line at, I'm going to be pro-choice in general, and I just don't think that this is something we should give to the government. And I think that would be totally reasonable, honestly. It's just a difference of opinion. Do I have to be high to get the same experience? No, I don't think so. I think that Radiolab is really, really good, whether you're high or not. Look how hard it is to even get a green card. Yeah, but totally separate system, totally separate problems, right? Let's see here. Like I could say, look at how hard it is to get a weed license in California, right? But different in different places, and these are very different systems. I can't imagine having them choose who can get kids. Yeah, it's not great. Is it common for arguments about reproductive rights to ignore the importance of accessible birth control? I feel like I lack critical information about what triggered this rant. Yeah, I mean, you're on YouTube. You could rewind. Get weed, Lamau? Nah, I'm not going to. I'm in Mexico. Okay, so now that we're done with all of that, we're done with this this random rant, which I don't know. Maybe some of you enjoy it. I think it's something I want to do more of, these kinds of rants. Let's go ahead and open up this. Okay, what are we gonna watch? I enjoyed it. Well, I'm happy you did, Nicole. Though I was late, nah, it's not a problem. And NPR does a much better. Or I keep saying that. I don't think Radiolab is NPR. I'm pretty sure Radiolab, yeah, WNYC Studios. Yeah, I think they do a much better job of telling the story, right? So I would prefer that you go to them and get it from them. But yeah, I'll just give you a taste. All right. It's good to get your opinion on these issues. I don't think my opinion matters very much, but I'm happy you guys value it. Okay. What do we want to watch here? You should check out Snap Judgment if you haven't. Okay, I'll look it up. I will look it up. Okay, what do we want to watch here? I need to become informed on why he's banned and stuff. How do I acquire this information in video form? Okay, Snap Judgment looks like it's by Snap Judgment and PRX. Snap Judgment mixes real stories with killer beats to produce cinematic, dramatic, kick-ass radio. Sounds cool. We don't know why. I know we don't know why, but I want to see what the propaganda from the Russian state or the Taliban tells me that I should believe. Please don't judge me for putting those linkies in vote suggestions. It's what people in drama suggested. I don't care, bro. I'm not judging any individual for putting those in there. There is no reason given why. I know. Okay, you guys are not seeing the question that I'm asking. I'm not asking definitively what is it that got Stephen banned. What I'm asking is for us to pick some kind of media that we can watch that is trying to propagandize this one way or the other, or gives us information that is around the situation. I'm not looking for like a solid answer to anything, you guys. Hey, can you pick a video that talks about why Steven was banned? We don't know why he was banned. Hey, did you miss the fucking first variable in that question? I asked for a video, motherfucker, not a yes or no. I guess we'll go with... because I'm obviously going to have to pick. Maybe the panel that discusses his ban. It covers a right. Yeah, but you guys said it's okay. We'll try a little bit of it. Here's what we'll do. We'll give it a little bit. I know you guys said it's boring. We'll play it at 1.3 or 1.5 or something. Thank you a ton for that. I do appreciate it. Let's see what it is that you said. Wait, did I miss something? How come I don't see it in my feed? Book, I'm going to be up at pause, especially because he tells other people that he's going to beat them up. Am I wrong for this view? Why? You didn't even write anything proper. All right, where is this other person that just subbed? Anonymous gifter gifted 1 tier 1 to Infra. Okay, so whoever messaged before about Haas an hour ago is probably the same person as an anonymous gifter giving subs to Haas. Very, very funny. I think everyone on YouTube has a video about it. Yeah, but I don't care about most people. We'll just click on Destiny's thing. Oh, no, not that one. The Destiny reacts to a panel discussing his ban. Oh, okay. Okay. This.
You've got to deal with some people that aren't perfect.
Oh, I love that voice. I'm so happy to see that IRI is on here. That makes this infinitely more digestible already. Thank God, dude. I thought I would have to jump into the fucking middle of the Pacific Ocean at nighttime and there are fucking, storm swells around me. And then I reach out and I have this solid fucking hunk of lumber from the shipwreck sitting there right in the middle of the ocean for me to grab onto. Wonderful. Okay. There is some hope. Okay. There is some hope. I can hold on to IRI gear and maybe it'll be a little less painful, dude. Destiny will be ultra bad. Okay. Well, I'm sure I would be bad too listening to people happy about me getting banned, dude. Hey, Book, honestly, I probably wouldn't get mad. I would get very sad. But I know that he experiences emotions differently. I could see him getting mad, and I can understand it because I would get sad, and it's like the same thing with him. What do you think of Not So Erudite? I think she's cool. Yeah, I think she's cool. I think she can improve her debate abilities. The more that I'm seeing of her, the more I'm seeing, oh, okay, there's some recurring issues here that the next opportunity I have to do a review of hers, I'll point out, so maybe she could improve them. But yeah, I think in general, she seems intelligent and she seems kind, and we definitely need more of that. And, you know, a good woman streamers, female streamers, I think we need to encourage having more of them in the space and being more open and welcoming to them as well. Because I remember a time that I call the golden age of like panels and stuff, where we had a lot of randoms on. It was crazy, and Prime Kai's still competed with Dylan Burns, and I don't think that was a very kind place to women. And I think we need to. I think we would really benefit from having more women in this space. So anytime I find a female creator that I'm digging, I think it's worth sharing. She talks with Wicked Supreme a lot. Oh, nice. What voice do you like more, IRI or Vosh's roommates? IRI. IRI, definitely. Yeah, but Vosh's roommates is like, you know, it's like getting like, what is it? Like chocolate fudge fondue. It's like, oh, yeah, that's yummy. But it's like, it's very rich. I think I've used the comparison of like Wagyu beef. Like it's very, very flavorful, very, very rich. But you know what IRI is? IRI is like a good like Italian sandwich from like your local deli. Like, fuck, that meat is real good. It's got fresh veggies in it. It's got the home cooked bread. Like, I could have this like 5 days a week. This is that you know, this is like solid. Like, it's not offensive on my ears, and it's easy to listen to for long periods of time. And like, yeah, so I would go with IRI for that reason. He is more like a deli sub sandwich. You know what I mean? The golden days are bad for women. Yeah, in a lot of cultures and times, bro. I think Wicked Supreme sounds like IRI at times. Wicked Supreme has a similar voice where it's definitely like a made for radio kind of voice that's very easy on the ears. And I think both of them do that like pretty intentionally. Like IRI still sounds the same in real life, but there's a different kind of like, I don't know. He tries to be a lot more consistent, and it's clear that he's trying to have this kind of voice on stream, and same with Wicked. Why do people like Jay Schlatt? I don't watch anything of Jay Schlatt, so I have no fucking idea. No idea. I could not answer that for the life of me. You know what I want to watch more of? Oh my God, I'm pause champing, dude. We're 3 seconds in. But I love just talking with you guys. I love it more than watching this stupid bullshit, dude. I want to watch more of the Austin show. Every single clip I see of the Austin show is funny as fuck. So the Austin show now, in case you didn't know, is themed like a 70s set where like Austin wears, and this is Austin, formerly of Raj Royale fame or infamy, depending on who you are. They all dress like they're in the 70s, and they're on like a 70s like TV set. And I think that Austin puts some kind of stuffing into his pants so it looks like he's got like a giant dick. And Will Neff is there, and Will Neff is super fucking funny, and he like, you know, wears the like what I was wearing yesterday. Like they dress up like they're from the 70s. They like lean into it to be funny. Just the Minx is there, and I know that some people don't like her, or some people think she's annoying or whatever. I think that she adds a chaos to everything that is very helpful to the show and is really, really funny. And she's like the assistant that's like treated really, really poorly, because in the 70s, again, golden ages and women, you know how those two things go together. But yeah, like it seems like a very funny show, so I kind of want to like watch more of it. But you know, the clips are just so good from it.
In order to achieve change.
Joe Rogan isn't calling, isn't Destiny in a sense.
I'm worse than Joe Rogan.
That's the problem.
Joe Rogan.
Like, you guys say Just the Minx is absolutely annoying or whatever. Just the Minx is like the kind of like if you put Just the Minx in a lineup with a bunch of streamers, and I got the choice of like who to go hang out with or who to like spend a night out on the town with, I'm probably picking her. Like you would need some other compelling options before I would like not pick Minx. She seems like a fun person to hang out with. And I get that you guys will feel differently, but like I don't know. She seems like a fun person, so I kind of dig Minx. I don't know.
Joe Rogan had,
Josie took his endorsement and he was thrilled.
Jesus.
Thrilled. It wasn't even a great endorsement.
I am not here to defend Joe Rogan, but I will tell you that Destiny is worse.
Feels like a lot of these allegations are like fully aimed at just being like Destiny is a big evil villain, which like fly in the face of so many things that I've seen of him, like debating with staunch conservatives, making a space in the Twitchosphere for leftists to actually exist. Like I've publicly watched people call him a rapist.
How many times have you been hate rated on this platform?
Oh my God,
I've
dude.
had
They're all victims.
Like, do you understand that it's literally happening in my community? Go in my
said
chat.
some real
Go in my
fucking
chat
dumb
right
shit
now.
before.
Like how many people have you had to ban specifically to?
I don't know yet. I haven't counted.
Wait, are there only 4 bans right now? Josie, you defended Maddie Cakes when she called Destiny a rapist. That's literally Destiny derangement syndrome. Very transphobic. Wow. I'm glad that person got banned.
I mean, the thing is, right? You can have whatever little like theory about it as you want. Just whatever. I mean, he can have his assumptions or not, but I mean, he would need proof, right? So this whole thing of me would just reek of Destiny not having enough brain cells, right? Surely this means you're no longer associated with Vosh now, right? Due to the history of Irish Laddie? Yeah, Vosh has some pretty fucking yikesy fucking history when it comes to sexual harassment. Unironically, if Prime like just does a full like, hey, I'm sorry, da-da-da-da-da, and he goes through the whole thing, I believe in people being reformative. He can, like, I don't care. Like, maybe then I'd associate with him. I've only ever seen Destiny.
Why are we getting this context? I wonder. August never does anything without a purpose. I'm wondering why we're getting this.
Turn on people after logs condemn them. Yeah, I guess. I mean, like if Destiny doesn't believe testimony from multiple people, right? Then that's just on Destiny, then, right? I mean, like anybody can do anything in calls and just be like, well, there's no footage of the calls because people don't record calls, so fuck them. Bosch Prama had Droofto. Where are your receipts? Well, the difference is when it comes to sexual harassment, right? There are receipts that he was talking to her in a very inappropriate manner. Gorgeous. If I kiss you, right? Then I could just die. There's stuff like that, right? That's already out there. But you can't take a screenshot of him saying something in a voice call. He doesn't want to bring me on because he knows the whole thing is BS. Dude, what the? You know what? Fuck it, I'll do it.
Dylan.
Hello.
How are we doing today?
Things gonna be.
See that? No, but like I think that's like whenever I see Destiny get so amped about this particular situation, right? Where he's like, whenever anyone mentioned something like grooming or power dynamics, that sets him off. And to me, that is the biggest fucking red flag that you could have. Because I'm like, why is this specifically setting him off? I bet it's because he's trying to reverse engineer his logical way back to absolve himself of any responsibility, because I'm guessing that he's had this sort of thing. I don't know.
I don't think that's responsible. I don't think that's. I would not say that about. Okay, so sorry, I don't. I'm going to disagree because I understand where he's coming from.
A decent amount about. Whatever I heard or whatever I think I heard is irrelevant because I have no evidence that sexual harassment ever occurred. Regardless if I thought I heard something inappropriate, the proper thing to do would have been to bring it to his attention directly immediately after the incident and reach an understanding, not to attempt to shame him and destroy his reputation as part of a public spectacle based on an allegation. I apologize for not holding this matter and dealing with this matter privately. It should have been dealt with privately. I let my emotions get the better of me due to the type of situation that it was. And I should not have let my emotions get the better of me in the situation. And I should have handled it responsibly off live stream in private when we talk about whatever I thought I heard. Those are all the things that Prime gave me on the list. But I just want to go forward and say another thing here that.
So, I'm going to ask this question of you guys. And I just want a one creator response. Do we remember who facilitated the reconciliation between these two people? Who was a key instrument or an instrumental part of this apology happening and in this resolution happening? I'm curious. Do you understand where this is going? I do. Fascinating. You guys are guessing Destiny. Interesting. I'm trying to think of what I know is public information and what I know is not. Okay, there we are. Now we're getting the right answer. So no, it wasn't Destiny. It was Wicked Supreme. Because the first thing that popped into my mind when this appeared is, oh man, I feel bad that there is no indication anywhere on here that Wicked Supreme was a part of this. It's unfortunate. I think it's something he should consider for next time. Like, just being in the whereby with them, I think, would have made for better historical accuracy of how this happened. Because if you saw something like this in the Steven video, you would have no idea. And this isn't to say that August is trying to bury, you know, Wicked Supreme's involvement or Steven or whatever. I'm merely pointing out that, like, I wonder how many people remember that Wicked Supreme was the person that made all of this happen. Because, you know, I think there's a difference between the person who like slays the dragon and then the people who have to like clean up all the burned buildings and the aftermath of that fight, right? There's a difference between who are the Avengers who destroy all the aliens in New York City and then the cleaner people who then have to like rehome everybody and rebuild the buildings and clean everything up, right? And I don't feel like we often have a lot of respect or admiration for the people who are the cleaners, when in reality, I feel like that is a much more difficult kind of job and it requires a lot more tact than the former. And so sometimes I wonder about that, dude. Because it wasn't an easy thing that Supreme did, in my opinion. Doubt he cares about the audience knowing. He'll say that, but I do think it would matter to him, honestly. And I'm not sure. I would pull Mr. Girl here. I'm not sure I would believe him if he told me he doesn't care. I do think that at some level he does. Because I think he would care if somebody else took, took the credit for this or something like that.
I handled the situation terribly irresponsibly. I should have talked to Prime when he offered to talk to me, immediately when he started getting any sign of what was about to happen. I should have taken that offer. I let my emotions guide my conduct, and I shouldn't do that. Definitely when it concerns what could have been the end of somebody else's career. And I shouldn't have let my emotions get the best of me. I should have not have trusted information at face value. And I should have done my due diligence, which I did not do. And for that, I sincerely and
I'll say right now, anybody that is defending the actions, and I will say it because you know what? I don't care. Anybody who's defending the actions of Destiny and what he said, and then having the fallout after this with what he did to Maddie, you're no better than people who support Donald Trump after he started the insurrectionist riots.
Just as a heads up, what she's talking about is, I don't even think there might be a subreddit post about it. Maddie faked screenshots of DGGers harassing her on Twitter, and she posted on Twitter and said that she was getting harassed, and the screenshots were photoshopped poorly. And when people called her out on it, she tried to make an excuse of like, oh, I think that my tablet accidentally added that dot there. This is what she's getting mad that people are attacking Maddie over.
Because at the end of the day, you're just following your leader. I have no respect for you. None. And neither do the women on this platform. And I'll say right now.
Already losing a book? No.
Maddie Cakes is most likely editing DMs, a very shit analysis. Oh yeah, we can set up for the original tweet posted at 12:10 a.m. The proof. The first evidence of these tweets, Maddie provides these 2 DMs that are timestamped to tweet. This prompted a lot back to Maddie. For Maddie.
Is this my video player that's having all these problems? Like, are you guys seeing that I'm having all these problems, like loading this stuff? I can close this. I feel like we're having lag. I'm hearing it. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is up with that. I was having problems yesterday too. I don't really know. Here, maybe this will fix it.
Provide evidence of DMs that were received before her original.
No, it's definitely still a problem. What is going on? Let's see. Let's take a little peek under the hood here. Oh, I mean, it doesn't look like
this book bag is unseen by Disney's friends, and then tweets this, blah, blah. However, in the screenshot, the time zone is off by 1 hour, making it seem as if Maddie Cake's original tweet was at 1:10 a.m. Maddie sees the tweet and presumably tries to find the first death threat. She then posts this DM claiming it's the first one she's received. That tweet seems to be photoshopped as there's a dot next to the timestamp. So this dot right here doesn't appear on new DMs, but she fucked up and she didn't delete this dot when she photoshopped this fake tweet.
I am very happy personally for this, and I know a lot of trans creators that are also very happy about this. So I don't understand where this like, oh, you need to be able to do this so he can do all these type of things. I'm just saying, as a trans femme, I do not see that, and knowing the trans femmes on this platform, they don't definitely see that either.
Oh boy. Okay, now I am struggling already. It's so here we begin with the identitarian stuff. I'm gonna go pour a glass of soda for this. Well, you know, the trans community is kind of like that wife you don't get along with that's always threatening to leave you and take the kids and will frame you for murder and shit. I don't know. It's kind of scary. And I feel like on the left in particular, we've become such staunch supporters or whatever of trans people and trans issues that to some extent we are now held hostage in this marriage with the trans community. And now we have to like stick up for trans folks, even if they're doing stuff that or saying things that if a cis person said it or they use that kind of reasoning, we certainly would not be supporting them. And we're looking around the room like, do we do anything? And then we can't. So, you know, there once was love here, and I you know, there still is love, but sometimes you scare me, babe. So that's sometimes how I feel about that. Even in my own community, I worry that like if I have the wrong take on a trans thing, or if I prove to be uneducated on a particular topic, I don't know if I'm met with like open arms and love and grace and in teaching and stuff like that. I think it's gonna be like hate and cancellation and, you know, that kind of stuff, which feels really bad because like I wouldn't put the same thing on trans people at all for any of the things that I disagree with them about. So it's just kind of rough, you know?
It's a good thing, and I hope he stays gone.
Okay, one thing. I just want to say one thing quick for chat. I am going to be looking at chat hard tonight with my mods. If you do anything that I think is over the line, misgendering and anything like that, that's like an insta ban, okay? That's like an insta, you're going to be put on the wall, okay? We're running Dylan Burns gulags, okay? I'm just throwing that out there. And everyone in chat, you're not going to tell me I'm going to platform. I'm going to choose I'm going to platform. Throw over to Lorna Box.
Yeah, Destiny's a fucking asshole, but I like his content, so whatever. I don't think Twitch chose to ban him because they were fed up of his toxicity. If that was their threshold, Hassan would have been banned a while ago. I just think I've got
Wait, how long ago did this start?
What the threshold should be for people getting banned. I don't think Destiny really crosses that. I mean, I think that the toxicity of this community maybe.
God, this fucking loser is such a performer.
Like,
fucking,
oh
my God.
Made like a little Destiny really crosses that. I mean, people getting banned.
What did he say that has evoked this response?
Wait,
how long ago did this start?
What the threshold should be for people getting banned. I don't think Destiny really crosses that. I mean, I think that the toxicity of this community maybe.
God, this fucking loser is such a performer.
Like,
fucking,
oh my God. Made like a little what? Genders. Like,
got
it. I feel like he doesn't help sometimes. Like, if I really wanted to like think of him as transphobic in my head, it's so easy for me to be conspiratorial and be like, well, you know who else did the faces and stuff that he's obviously doing there? Demon Mama. We can all see that. What does Demon Mama and this person have in common? Both of them are trans, huh? And now we're talking about trans issues and he's so heated and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. It sucks. Like, but yeah, I get it. People making faces and stuff. It can be challenging. I don't know.
I hate her so much. Oh, what a fucking loser.
Comments under it were pretty like just personal attacks and like appearances and all that. So I just thought like if that's someone with like a little 1K YouTube video, I can't imagine what it's like if you end up on his channel with contention. But yeah, no, definitely.
And to respond to you, XOXO Kire, yeah, I'm sure that he does it to other people too. But oh man, I've been streaming 2.5 years and I still don't know how to pin down and always communicate a feeling I get. There's a feeling I get when you guys tell me something and my immediate response, I wish it could be like, that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm talking about, but I can't because that's not really what I mean. It won't be like I can write that in a letter and throw it at your fucking face, but you reading that, you're not going to pick up what I meant to imbue in that letter. Like, when I say in this specific situation with this one specific person who fits these specific characteristics, who I'm talking about in this specific context of this trans discourse, and you're like, yeah, but he says it to everybody. Like, okay, I can get that. I didn't ask for that. I don't want to know that. That doesn't have any bearing or change anything about what I'm stating here about the optics of this one particular thing, right? So sometimes it does, right? Like if he's like nodding no and like going like that and shit every time that person talks, and you're like, whoa, Booksmarts, he's got fucking Tourette's, dude. Like, oh, okay, well, that's helpful to know. But it doesn't matter that he just, in general, doesn't like when people make faces. I'm talking about the consequences of the relationship between this person and Dima Mama, who is going to come to mind here. I'm talking about very, very specific things. So when you bring up this other thing, it doesn't change my mind about anything. It frustrates me to read it, you know, like, and I still don't know how to respond to that as a streamer, because when I do this and I talk this way, it makes the person who said it oftentimes upset, whether that's upset because they feel like I'm just not open to people with a different opinion, or they think that I'm not taking a full account of what's going on, or I'm being unfair specifically to Steven. There's a multitude of things they could be upset about when I have a negative response to them saying something like this. But if you guys ever have like a very good, concise way that I can respond to comments like this about and communicate exactly what I communicated to you, I would like that. Because I don't know like how to. I'm not lying, and that's the same. Look it up. It's not. Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying that. Well, if a person has been lying about me and just cut off the majority of my revenue, I'd probably be mad as fuck. But if you don't have that perspective, I can totally understand that fit. Who are we responding to here? I don't know. This isn't answering the question that I just answered, so I'm gonna assume it's not at me. Okay, it is, but it was like, okay, so you and Dylan are talking but not outing each other. That's smart. Wasn't meant to change your mind as much as provide further context. I know that you're trying to provide further context. I want to discourage that, like, pretty hardcore, because it frustrates me and it ticks me off, and I don't know how to discourage that. I know you're providing further context, and I even to an extent understand your intentions and stuff. I just don't want it, and I don't know how to discourage people from doing it. Fair enough, it's your chat. That's not what it's about, brother. Again, what I'm asking is being lost in the ether of, like, I'm gonna come off like an asshole. What I'm asking here is, how do I concisely communicate this to people without upsetting them? If you come up with something, let me know. If some poetic genius in chat knows how to word that in a way that I can use, that would be cool. I'm basically crowdsourcing a TLDR explanation of my feelings regarding comments like those. I understand that you're adding context. I don't have a problem in general with people adding context. I have a problem with, like, this kind of knee-jerk reaction to, like, when I state something about, like, the optics of a particular situation. It's almost like a separate branch of whataboutism that I'm having a problem with. It's not the adding of context. You're about the only person who can tell what that's what's happening when there is no ads. I don't know. I think how you responded is appropriate. Yeah, but how I responded is, like, super duper long-winded, right? And it's tough. I typically say that's not the point. Okay. To me, it feels like a bit harsh, but yeah, that's not the point, maybe. So in this particular case, and I'm going to move at the amazing speed of slow. I'm taking my time. So that's not the point. So I could have said, that's not the point. I'm just saying in this very specific instance, the optics of how this would work out, and then leave it. And then, are they not going to respond after that, though? That is the question. Because there's also the desire to shut it down and to discourage it from continuing to happen. And that's the only thing I'm not sure that accomplishes. So that's the only part that it doesn't accomplish. If you figure out a way to also discourage it from happening again, then we may be onto a solution there. Thank you, Nicole. I get what you're saying, but I'm focusing on X specific situation in particular. Okay. And then how do we discourage at a community level from these messages continuing to happen? Because that's I like that too, Puffins. That's good too. It's just the only thing I just need the discouraging part, and then, but I could come up with my own discouraging thing, frankly. Yeah, just make it clear you're not talking about a specific circumstance. That you're talking about a specific circumstance, not broadly. I see. Okay. Because from your perspective, you're probably under the impression that I'm trying to paint a broader picture about Steven's character, or about how Steven is treating people in broader situations, and that's not really what I'm doing. And perhaps what's being communicated to you is that I believe that Steven is transphobic in this way, or that I believe that Steven is specifically targeting trans people with these kinds of criticisms about faces, when that's not really what I mean. And yeah, I guess that would improve the way I would communicate the point and may discourage people from doing the whataboutism stuff. Okay. Out of scope. Yeah, out of scope is another good succinct way of putting things. We're only talking about this right now. Okay, that's good. And I like that it's coming from you. I like that we had this back and forth and it wasn't awkward, or you didn't feel like I'm like attacking you and stuff, because I feel bad about that. Every time I do this, it's always like an 80-20 chance, 80 favoring you getting upset, that people are going to feel like I singled them out and like attack them. And that's never what I like mean to do. I just know that when I go into a Twitch chat, if within the first like 3 messages of me sending something directly to the streamer, I don't get any kind of response, I kind of like zone out of the chat, and I don't really want to chat anymore. So I always try to respond to everybody and to really like give them attention. And it's just sometimes it's tough when I get rubbed the wrong way or whatever. I think this is what I like most about book streams. It offers perspective. Yeah, sure. Just this little boosh. Out of scope is good. Yeah, out of scope is good. Thanks, Lol. And we've spoken in YouTube chat. I respect candidness. Thank you. Okay. Now we will move on. I just wanted to work that out, take a bit of time learning communication stuff and getting that hashed out. A practical example of, friendly communication happening. Okay, let's continue here.
But didn't deserve to get banned. I don't think any of the stated reasons qualified me. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, I'm going to throw it over to Not So Erudite.
Yeah, I think IRI said it all pretty well. I don't think we know why, and I think it would be really valuable to know why for the community's benefit. Future of Twitch specifically. I mean, I'm super new in this sphere, so I'm probably not the best to predict that. But I think private companies have a choice to do whatever they want with their platform. If Twitch is maybe moving in a direction of wanting to remove politics from its platform for whatever reason, that's within their purview to do. I just think like streamers probably need to potentially anticipate that and then respond accordingly of whether or not they're okay with that and kind of go from there. Other than that, I think IRI said it all pretty well.
Okay, I'm going to throw it over to Taft.
All right, listen, Destiny.
Wait, did we miss what IRI said? Oh no. Did I miss? The mast of the ship floated past me, bro. Wait.
I don't think we know why, and I think it would be really valuable to know why.
Oh, you tuned in late? Rip, bro. That sucks. Here, I'm gonna grab a piece of paper real quick.
Mein Gott, guten Himmel.
I say that like thing quite a bit as like a reflexive thing because I used to be a weeb. But I have to be a lot more careful about that in Mexico because oto sounds a bit like hoto, which is like the F slur. And so, you have to kind of be careful with that because the wrong person hears that and they're going to think you're talking about them. And then they get, that could not end well. I've gotten like looks from that. And I know that I need to be careful about that here. I think the video starts after IRA. Okay, cool.
I think IRA said it all pretty well.
Okay, I'm going to throw it over to Taft.
All right, listen, Destiny, incredible trans femme ally. He's the only reason that people are watching me. I suckle on his teat of clout. continually. He spawned Vosh, who spawned Demon Mama. So I think on the creating trans femme creators, he's doing pretty good, even if it means creating people who destroy him. But yeah, huge figure on the platform, hugely influential. I think when it comes to him getting banned, it's pretty obvious that he's a liability for Twitch. Twitch doesn't like when people have difficult conversations and difficult topics, or when they're challenging the progressive narrative, and they'll look for any reason to, ban those people off the platform. And I think that's terrible. I think that's terrible because social media platforms like Twitch wield huge amounts of power in the state of online discourse, and it's horrifically bad for our society when we become continually fractured into separate communities. I think that's what promotes extremism. It makes it so people aren't able to challenge bad ideas. And, when people are going to cozy TV or whatever, what you see is people get more and more extreme. So I think it's important that people are brought together to challenge each other and have difficult conversations. And I think it's disappointing that the economically efficient, business efficient move is to ban people like Destiny, because I think it's clear that he brought on a lot of people who disagree with him, people like Vosh and Demon Mama, right? And I think that's good. You have discourse that goes back and forth, and that's the end result of having controversial figures. So we'll get into it more, but yeah, I think it's not good that he was banned.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it over to Sprout.
Off Taj being based. All right. So I think that banning people off Twitch honestly probably shouldn't exist. And you're gonna give me these extreme examples of what about this extremist? What about this extremist? What about this person that did this? What about this person that did that? It's much easier to actually take those opinions and to actually break them down and show your audience or show their audience why they're incorrect than it is for them to go to a completely different platform where you can't talk to them anymore. You can't show their videos anymore. You can't literally do anything but just mention them in conversation without getting banned for showing a banned viewer or showing a banned streamer. But with that, you are going to actually be able to break down their discussion, break down their opinions. You're going to be able to prove them incorrect. And to whoever's listening, you may bring back a few people who were extremists and be like, yeah, maybe this isn't as right as I thought it was. And for that reason, I'm saying that no one should be banned on Twitch. The Twitch community should come together. The Twitch community should prove bad opinions incorrect, like we're doing here.
Kind of cringe from IRI. This isn't IRI. This isn't IRI. This is Sprouticus, bro.
And then we should then move forward with that. And there's always going to be people who follow them. There's always going to be other extremists that listen to them. You're not going to change their mind. The people you're looking at is the middle ground. And that middle ground just moved to that new platform with that streamer. And there's going to become more extreme the longer they listen to them and the less they have of actual discourse between the topics.
Okay, and for the last wrap up, we're gonna throw it over to Turk.
Yeah, so I resonate a lot with Counterpoints and IRI. I definitely don't agree that he should have been banned because we don't know what he was banned for. But I also kind of resonate with Sprout because if we're going to be able to have true discourse on a social media platform, we need to be able to speak our mind and our opinions in order to flush it out and in order to further the conversation. Because if you just live in an echo chamber,
it's another hate raid, guys.
So
oh no.
And one thing I keep hearing is that like this guy is bad for these certain things. If you ever put the shoe on the other foot and look at things from a different perspective, a lot of the stuff that a lot of these other popular streamers are talking about can also be talked about as radical or insane or super crazy. And I think it would be good for a lot of people on the platform to take a little perspective and actually, try and feel and see what other people are trying to talk about, especially as we go into tonight's conversations. And then as far as his viewers, they may or may not leave the platform. There's still going to be a toxic community. What community are they going to land in? Are they going to remain as toxic? So you're not really getting rid of the viewers per se. So that, might be biting the hand that feeds you a little bit.
Okay, so I want to say going into this that I think everybody can tell that the lines are a little uneven here. And so
I'll back up Josie, don't worry about it.
Okay, but I also just want to let everybody know that in my moderation, I'm going to be very careful to make sure that the person who is 1v7, basically, that they have a lot of breathing room. We tried to book other people, but it just didn't work out. Other people were moving. People dropped out. People dropped in, and sometimes.
Wait, hold on a minute. Is this the only person that is happy that he got banned? Okay.
This happens. I made sure to double check with Josie in advance to everything would be cool for tonight. We still good? Everybody still good?
I don't want to watch this anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and pick something else. I don't want to watch one person talking to 7 people and they're all trying to convince them to change their mind. I'm not really about this, bro. The only one that was 1/10 saying to bring on. I see. Okay. Maybe we don't need to have a panel on a topic if 99% of people all agree on what the answer is to the topic. Oh boy. I always feel like I'm bullying Dylan Burns because every time I engage with Dylan Burns stuff, I have like such huge like meta level problems with either the way he runs the show or the way he picks people or the topics that he picks or the prep he does for his shows. Like I have so many problems. I love Dylan Burns to death. I'm happy he is successful. I think he is a good streamer. Like, but it's just things like this. Like, why then? Why did we even do this? This is silly. I blame Danabo for everything. I'm gonna start doing that. I'll start blaming Danabo. I just don't want to have any drama with Danabo. I'm more afraid of having drama with Danabo than I am Dylan. Like, Dylan's a whole ass sane person who I feel like I can DM and reach out to him and talk to him. I don't feel that way about Danabo. Danabo is like a loose cannon, bruh. So I feel like if I upset Dylan to the point where he's like, hey, do you like not like me? I can talk to Dylan about that and like work that out. I don't feel the same way about Danabo, dude. Who the hell is Danabo? He's a mover and a shaker. He's a behind the scenes fella. Produces some of these shows. Did it for the discourse? There isn't discourse about this. You know, it would have been a lot better, even though people would make fun of him for it. Just have all the people on that agree for like 30 minutes and talk about it. I don't know, dude. I don't like this at all. I'm just gonna skip this. This is really lame to me. I don't like this at all. I don't get the mover and shaker meme. The meme is that somebody thinks that there's a conspiracy, that there are people behind the scenes who are influencing the outcomes of things like Dylan Burns' championship outcomes and stuff like that, that is creating and moving along drama from the background. And I can guarantee you that there doesn't need to be movers and shakers because streamers already do that. Streamers already scheme and they have things that they want to accomplish and they get people on their side before they go public with stuff and yada, yada, yada. You know, like as a streamer, I can tell you that's how it works, you know, like that's why during the Bob 7 thing, I tried to tell everybody that about the way that Steven handled that, but just nobody really cares when I tell them that that's how it's working. So it's not helpful, I guess, to tell you guys. It's a lot like Ed Snowden leaking all those documents about how the government's spying on us. It's kind of like that Jeremy Clarkson meme where it's like, that's terrible. Anyways. Like we just kind of keep going. Like it doesn't really do anything, so it's kind of disappointing. But oh well. Streamers are all capitalists. I guess so, bro. Let us watch literally anything else. Here we have two kind of options here. Do we want to watch Opens Up about his permaban on Cancel Me podcast, or do we want to watch Destiny on Vosh being spiteful? I think we could watch this one because it's short. Like, I think we could just throw this one up. They killed the meme very fast. Yeah, I think that it's like that for a lot of memes with Dylan too. That's another cringe thing about Dylan, bro. I feel like he smothers memes to death as well, especially anything to do with him or his community. But I don't know, bro. Maybe people feel that way with me and Bookfucker. I don't know. It's tough telling, dude. I thought you couldn't watch banned streamers on stream. Well, I'm changing the rules of the game, bro. I think we're allowed to watch their YouTube videos and stuff, apparently. That's what people tell me. If I get banned, whatever, I'll be a fucking YouTuber. Honestly, if I got banned off of Twitch, that would spark so many dominoes in my life that are already like really solidly placed to make a gazillion things happen. It's almost like I dare you. I dare you. Just ban me. Like there's so many things in my life that are all kind of just hinging on like my continued ability to stream on both these platforms, and my life would change very dramatically if Twitch would ban me. And I don't think for the worst. I too did it for the drama. It's the only thing I could think of that explores a variety of different reasons as to why he should have been banned. The general consensus from the same people in the DGG Discord was that there are more people who are likely better to bring on. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe. I guess we would have to take that up with Danabo and put in front of him the people that could have been on, but maybe he was in a rush and he's rushing and that's why he doesn't get good people. Destiny is going to have a 3-hour stream going over his Vosh/trans manifesto, so you better sit tight, Bookie. Oh, okay. Is that a today thing? Bookfucker is almost less like a meme and more like a brand now. I suppose so. Gosh, it sounds like it would be good for Booksmarts to get banned from Twitch. I should help him out. No, but you know, I won't talk anymore about it.
Hardcore fucking simp all over the Kefa girl is also really gross. Oh god, Vosh is like
Really calling for the death of trans.
The left.
really interesting that now Vosh, who's not spite driven, by the way, I'm the spite driven. I don't care. I'm extending way less charitability to that pedophile and his community. I'm kind of done. Vosh's community kind of surprised me. I already have like low expectations in that community, but Jesus, just because I think that given the opportunity, I think what Vosh probably wants to do is probably try to
Obama.
Oh, dude, seeing Vosh hardcore fucking simp all over the Kefa girl is also really gross. Oh god, Vosh is like it's hardcore on my shit list right now.
Didn't say Simon Says.
I need to start treating him with the same fucking retard gloves that he treats me with, where he's like, "Oh yeah, everything Destiny does is horrible and bad faith." Wait, does anybody have a link to the old
fucking retard gloves? Bruh, what is this rhetoric? Chill out.
to the old Vosh clip? Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
As a fellow South Floridian, get a fan. The humidity makes it feel way hotter than it is.
Did he do that? Yeah, Vosh has been hardcore simping that Kefa girl for like the past like 36 hours on Twitter. It's insane.
And again, to preface this before we talk about Keffel, I am in an abusive relationship with the trans community. We've become married, but she says that if I piss her off or I ask for a divorce, she's going to take all of my kids and she's going to say that I beat her and she's going to tell the police that I raped her and my life is going to end because this woman is going to ruin me. So I will say that like I'm going to have to be somewhat conservative with how I handle Keffels because Keffels is more representative of that analogy that I use than perhaps many other trans creators that I engage with. I like the trans creators that I don't feel that threat looming over my head talking to. And they're trans creators that you guys might not even like because I don't like some of the shit that they say. But I don't get this vibe from them, and I do get this vibe from Keffels. So I'm just gonna be careful here. But let's give this a listen.
The left community online, particularly the LGBT community, is cancerous as fuck. If you're not an idiot, you will agree with me on this. If you have any fucking experience with online like LGBT or leftist discourse, you know it's cancerous as fuck. You understand this. People are hyper fragile. There's a ton of mental illness. And you can't convert these people. They're not reasonable. They have to be excised from the left. And it's because it's coming from dumb fucks who are gay. This person says they're gay as hell? Because it's coming from the gays. It's woke now. These people are less than human to me. I have no respect for these people. These people are fucking disgusting.
Okay. So the general sentiment of a desire to kind of separate some of the, I'm going to use the word crazy, and I don't mean that to say that trans people are mentally ill or whatever. I'm using crazy in the same way that a Spanish person would use local. Okay, I like, it's just the general fucking word that we learned when we were fucking 6 years old, and I'm using it that way. So I understand the desire to separate crazy people from your community, from your political movement, from your public facing image, whatever. Like I'm sure that Vosh doesn't want to be represented by crazy people in his community, and Steve doesn't want to be represented by crazy people in his community. And as a broader thing, the left movement probably doesn't want to get characterized by the crazier people that are in their movement. Like I get the sentiment, and it's tough because like I wish that we would just characterize these things by the positions that are crazy, because I think where I begin to have some problems, though I understand why we're doing it, is when you say that well, the online trans community, and I don't mean every trans person who's online, but you know what I mean. Those people are fucking crazy, and I think they should be excised. I think they're subhuman and whatever. Like, that feels like a very imperfect way of handling this, though I can understand why you would do it, but in much the same way that I would understand why you would stereotype people. Like, if you engage with a particular race of people or a particular identity of people who show you particular traits all of the time, and that's your constant day in, day out reaction, I think it's natural for humans to come up with stereotypes or to come up with racial or identity-based explanations for why particular people act a particular